Hello everyone, welcome to Chinese Grammar Simplified. For as long as I have been teaching, I always hear students complaining about the usage of measure words in Chinese. These words seem complicated and troublesome to use. Even experienced learners like Afu complain about them. So in the next 5 minutes, let's take a closer look at them, particularly from the perspective of English speakers. Let's start. Measure words, by definition, are most often used when we need to measure something or to count something. They connect numbers with the nouns that you're trying to count. In English, when you need to count something, you generally just put numbers right in front of the nouns. You can say things like 1 letter, 2 athletes, 3 bananas. However, when it comes to mass nouns in English, such as water, we need to use English measure words to connect them with the numbers. Instead of saying 1 water, 2 waters, 3 waters, we usually say 1 bottle of water, 2 drops of water, 3 cups of water. Also, measure words are used in English for nouns that show up in groups. For example, 1 stack of letters, 2 teams of athletes, 3 plates of bananas. All the words bottle, drop, cup, stack, team, and plates after the numbers in these examples are measure words. These words help us to have a qualitative understanding of the things we're measuring, and if we mix them up, people will get confused. Imagine if I say, I was so thirsty that I drank 2 drops of water. 2 stacks of athletes are playing basketball. 3 teams of bananas are sitting on the table. Something seems off, right? Now, in Chinese, it goes the same way. Measure words are used to connect numbers with the things you're counting. But different from English, in Chinese we would use a measure word for everything we're counting. We have a variety of measure words for almost every object you can think of. Mixing them up will cause confusion like what you saw earlier. For a single letter, we would use a measure word that means envelope, 封. So 1 letter in Chinese is phrased as 1 envelope of letter, 一封信. While 封 is a measure word that can be translated, other measure words cannot be translated directly. For athletes, we would use the measure word for people in general, 个. We generally don't translate 个 to English, but it still cannot be omitted as a measure word in Chinese. 个 is also probably the most common measure word in Chinese. So if you are not sure about a more appropriate measure word to use for a noun, 个 would be a good bet. So back to the example. 2 athletes would be 2个运动员. For bananas, we would use the measure word for the long and stick-like object, 根. So 3 bananas would be 3根香蕉. Now, check out the following measure words. Remember, Chinese measure words help to give you a conceptual understanding of nouns. Can you tell what the things here have in common and what characteristics the measure words are highlighting here? Another challenge about learning measure words is that besides counting things, there are other situations where measure words are needed. For example, in English you would say things like this cup of water, that cup of water, which cup of water, every cup of water. Notice that English measure word cup here is used after the word this, that, which, and every. Similarly in Chinese, we also need a measure word after the Chinese equivalent of this, that, which, and every. So to say this athlete, that athlete, which athlete, every athlete, in Chinese they are 这个运动员, 那个运动员, 哪个运动员, 每个运动员. Many people often forget to use the measure words in these situations. Now you are notified. The most interesting aspect of Chinese measure word is that we not only have measure words for nouns, we actually also have measure words for verbs to describe occurrences of specific events. For example, the measure word 趟 describes the occurrence of traveling. So if I say 我去了一趟商店, that means I made 1 trip to the store. 趟 here describes the verb 去 rather than the noun 商店. Another example is 场. 场 literally means a scene. So if I say 今天下了一场雪, that means today it snowed so much that it made a scene. So in Chinese, we can use measure words like 场 to characterize the environment. So a more word-for-word translation for the above sentence would be, today it dropped a scene of snow. Has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Since there are a variety of measure words in Chinese, mastering all of them takes time and practice. But I hope this video helps you to understand the logic behind them all. So now you know when to use them, and you can learn them faster by paying attention to what characteristics the measure words are trying to highlight. As always, to help you practice, please take a look at the following English sentences and think about how you would say them in Chinese. You can find the answers on my website. If you have any questions about any Chinese grammar point that confuses you, please leave a comment below. For customized Chinese lessons, please reach me at TwinCitiesChineseTutor.us. Thank you for watching.